Hi guys, today I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to try out a new foundation that just arrived today, so these are going to be my first thoughts on it, and I'm going to show you guys what I think of it. I've got rosacea, which means that my skin is very red all the time, and it's also very sensitive, so the products that I use on my face, it's always a bit of trial and error to see if something's going to make me flare up, if it's going to really aggravate my skin, and whether it's actually going to work. So this is the end look that I am going to end up with. So if you want to hear my thoughts and see the foundation that got me to this point, then carry on watching. Ta-da! No makeup. I don't have severe rosacea, but it's enough that I don't feel that I can go without foundation on a day-to-day basis. Those of you who follow my blog or follow me on Twitter or Instagram will probably have seen my face without makeup before. I do try and post pictures of my flare-ups and things like that on there so that people can see the kind of reality of rosacea and what it looks like and how I deal with it. My skin is actually okay at the moment. I have been at home for about 2 weeks. I've had some surgery, and so I haven't really been outside. I haven't had to deal with air conditioning or overheating on the tube or any kind of particularly stressful situations other than the actual surgery. So I think my skin is kind of behaving at the moment. It hasn't really had anything too stressful to deal with. So this is kind of what it's like on a day-to-day basis when it's not too bad. Rosacea sufferers get the kind of butterfly wing pattern on their cheeks, so you can see that my cheek is very red there and around the temple and cheekbone, but under here is actually quite pale, stark in comparison, and it's the same on the other side. That's really common with people with rosacea. Don't know why, it's just like, here, have a little patch that's not ridiculously red for no reason. So yeah, these are the kind of patches that I cover the most around my cheeks, down the sides of my nose, my actual nose, around my temples and my forehead as well. For some reason this side is always more red than the other side. Sorry, my hair's gone bananas. Don't really tend to get any redness around my jaw or my chin. It just seems to be mainly focused on the top half of my face. So that's kind of what I tend to focus my makeup on, what I tend to try and cover up the most. I have been trying foundations for years. When I first started wearing foundation, I just used to find kind of the thickest, pancake, awful, really horrible, thick kind of emollient type foundations and just used to plaster my face in that, or I used to just get loads of that like stick concealer and just like basically colour in my face and wonder why it was kind of patchy and gross and looked really cloggy and horrible. So I'm kind of on a mission to try and find foundations that, one, cover my rosacea and don't make me look like I'm wearing a mask, and two, that don't feel like I'm wearing a mask. So anything that can aggravate my skin will, and so if I put something really, really heavy on, like a really thick foundation, my rosacea is just going to go, no thanks. And then I'll get a flare up and then we're back to square one. So today I'm going to be trying out for the first time the Roche Posay Toleriane, maybe said that wrong, Teint. What's it called? Ultra Workable Fluid Corrective Foundation. So I don't know how long this has been out. I've only noticed it in the past kind of couple of weeks, and it was on my wish list on Essential, and I saw the other day that Essential were doing a 20% sale, which I think is still on for the next couple of weeks, so go. This stood out for me for two reasons. It's SPF 25, which is really good. I am really up on my SPF because my skin is so sensitive and so kind of reactive to any kind of external aggravators. SPF is really, really key for me. But also it's meant to be high coverage but really light, and yeah, so I'm really hoping that it's going to be high enough coverage for me, but also not really claggy and horrible and disgusting. So I got it in shade 10 Ivory, which was the lightest shade that they did on Essential. I think there's only 6 shades in the range, and I think that this is the lightest one that they do. So I didn't try it out before I bought it. I ordered it online, and I'm hoping that by getting the lightest one, that'll be light enough for me. I do have some problems trying to find foundations that are light enough for my skin because I'm quite pale. So let's give this a go. Let's have a look. So this is what it looks like. Just a tube. It's 30ml. Just a shape for you. So let's squeak it out. So I'm just going to squeeze a bit onto my hand. Probably put a bit too much on there actually. And I'm going to use my Zoeva buffer brush, which is the 104 buffer brush. I love this because it's huge. It's a flat top brush. It's really, really big, so I find that I can basically cover a lot of my face in less time, which means that my skin is less aggravated by buffing. I don't like to use my fingers unless I can really help it on my face, because my hands are warm and then any kind of warmth is transferred to my face, so it tends to overheat me really, really quickly, so brushes are perfect for me. If you've had problems in the past with overheating while you're putting on your makeup and things like that, then I would really recommend getting some makeup brushes, and they should help with that. So what I might do is do one side of my face and then we can easily compare. Okay, so I just managed to record the whole video, well, think I was recording the whole video without actually pressing record again. So I went to go and get my mirror so that I could actually see what I was doing as I was applying the foundation, and I forgot to press record again when I got back, so I've just been sat here for the past 20 minutes or whatever, you know, doing the review, doing the rest of my makeup, just chatting away to myself, and then when I went to click stop and actually clicked record, I was just like, I think I'll probably add that. I think I captured the moment when I realised that I'd recorded the whole look without recording it. So I'll put that at the end of the video so that you can all laugh at me. So yeah, I've just had to go wash my face and I'm gonna do the whole thing again. Fun times. So yeah, my skin is probably a little bit more red than it was before just because I've just washed my face, but not kind of drastically. So I'm gonna tie my hair up, get it out of the way, get it away from my face, and let's start again, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit on my hand. So it's a fluid foundation. It's not kind of a mousse or anything like that. I've tried quite a few high coverage foundations before that are more viscous, and I don't really like those because they feel a lot heavier and they feel kind of claggy on your skin, which I don't like. I much prefer liquids, and also with liquids you can work it a bit more into your skin. I think it gives a lot more of a natural finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only apply this to half of my face, just so you can see the difference. There's a really big gap in that sentence. I can't do two things at once, apparently. So I look a bit like Two-Face from Batman at the moment, which is always a good look. So, I actually do look like Two-Face, that's quite scary. So as you can see, the coverage is really impressive. I'm seriously impressed with that. That's one very, very light coat. I put kind of a pea-sized amount on the back of my hand and I haven't even used it all yet. You can see that the redness is completely covered. It's not completely matte, but it's not a dewy finish. So if you like a really dewy finish foundation, then this probably isn't the one for you. But as I have quite oily skin, I definitely prefer a matte finish, so I'm really happy with the way that this looks. It does still have a bit of a sheen to it, which gives it a more natural look, and I would say that it's, you know, it hasn't completely covered my moles and things like that, so it does look very natural. It's not kind of just a, you know, like a pan stick kind of I have no features left on my face kind of look. It's, you know, it still lets a few of your natural features come through, which I think is really, really good because it makes it look a bit more like believable skin, whereas some foundations just kind of completely whitewash you and then you just look like a Barbie or, you know, a mannequin or something. So yeah, I'm going to put a little bit more on the back of my hand. So when I'm applying foundation, I like to spread the product around and then lightly kind of softly stroke the product onto my face so that it's covered, and then you go in and you gently buff so that you're getting rid of any kind of tide marks or you know, obvious patches of your foundation. I don't like to rub really hard. I don't like to kind of put too much pressure on my face because that only aggravates my rosacea and then you know, you've got more to cover up. If you are going over any patches, I tend to stipple the brush like this, just kind of lightly bounce it off your face, because that way you're not going to move the product around that's already underneath it, and that's the way that you start to get obvious lines and the product drags and separates and starts to look really unnatural. I'm quite blind even with my contact lenses, so I have to get quite close. There we go. So that's pretty much one layer all over my face, and I did a tiny amount of coverage, extra coverage just over my right eyebrow, which is always really red, and slight bit of extra coverage around my nose. I'm genuinely impressed with this. When it first came out, I thought it was going to be because it was quite fluid, and I could tell as soon as I put my brush into it that it was quite lightweight. I automatically assumed that it wasn't going to be high coverage, but I think this is definitely one of the highest coverage foundations I've tried, and it's probably one of the lightest as well. It doesn't feel, I can move my face around, it doesn't feel like, you know, sometimes you can feel the product on your face. This isn't like that at all, can't feel it at all. My skin feels nice and soft, doesn't feel sticky, doesn't feel dry, doesn't feel kind of, you know, like I have any product on it. It's a very natural finish, like I said before. So yeah, overall, very impressed. I'm going to do my makeup again. Final step is lipstick. And this is probably, you know, like how you have a spirit animal, and I think you can have a spirit lipstick, and I think that this is mine. It's the new, one of the new MAC limited edition Giambattista Valley lipsticks, and it is beautiful. It's so beautiful. This is Tats, and it is my favourite one. It's a matte bright pink. Ooh. Look at that bad boy. I love it. Makes me so happy. It's very creamy when you first apply it, but it does dry down to a proper matte finish, like really powdery matte finish. It is quite drying. The next day you will know that you were wearing this. Like it's drying, but it's worth it, I think. And if you go to bed and just put a really thick lip balm on or something overnight, I use the NYX Rev de Miel one, and that just completely sorts me out. It doesn't, like, it's not, sorry, I can't stop looking at this foundation. I'm really impressed. So yeah, to recap, the Roche Posay foundation is amazing. I'm going to be raving about this to absolutely everyone. It's covered up all of my rosacea. I know I fast forwarded through that, but the only concealer that I put on really was under my eyes to cover my bags, and a little bit just above this eyebrow where I've got a little spot there. And it's completely covered, as you can see up here. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it was really quite red around my cheekbones and my temples and on my cheeks and around my nose, and that is all completely gone. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like it's going to aggravate my skin in any way. It just feels like I'm not really wearing anything. It doesn't have any fragrances or anything in there that can aggravate my skin as well, which is really good. It's SPF 25. I think this is a definite massive thumbs up. I'm going to wear this for the rest of the day. I'm going to let my hair down so that my massive forehead isn't glaring at me. I'm going to wear this for the rest of the day and see how I get on. I've got very oily skin, and I didn't put a primer on. What was I saying? Yes, didn't put a primer on, so I don't have high hopes that this is going to last to the end of the day, because I do have very oily skin, and I haven't found any foundation that will last me the entire day without a primer. But I'll see how long it lasts, I'll see how it kind of looks at the end of the day, and then tomorrow I'll wear it with a primer and compare its longevity, and I'll put all that information in the box below. But yeah, I think this is a definite positive. I'm really impressed. I have a few other foundations that I want to try out and show you, because I have found quite a few now that are in my arsenal that I can rely on to cover me up when I'm having a flare up, or if, you know, I'm not having a good skin day. So I think I'm going to do a kind of series of these where I try out foundations for the first time, or you know, show you my favourites and compare them again, do the side by side, and then you can see which ones are my favourites and which ones might work for you depending on your skin type. I think that this is a really, really great foundation regardless of whether you have rosacea or not. If you've just got sensitive skin that's easily reddened, if you've got acne scars, if you've got, you know, freckles that you want to cover, or, you know, anything that you feel that you need a higher coverage foundation for, I think this is going to be perfect for it. If there are any foundations that you've tried that you think are particularly good that you would like me to try and do reviews on, then let me know in the comments below. Come and chat to me on Twitter. I'm always around on Twitter. My @name is Lexington Steele. I'm always on Instagram as well. I'm Talented Lex, and that's the name of my blog as well, talentedlex.co.uk. So come and say hi, I'm always up for a chat. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this and that this was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe and give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye. No. Get your words out. Use your words.